In 1925, the Geneva Protocol banning the first use of chemical weapons was initiated. During the years which followed, other agreements banning the development of biological weapons, the use of chemical weapons, and limiting the spread of nuclear weapons have been signed by many countries, including the United States and the Soviet Union. Despite these agreements, the world has seen recent evidence of the use of chemical and biological warfare by Vietnamese military forces in Laos and Kampuchea in Southeast Asia, and by Soviet military forces in Afghanistan. The use of chemical and biological warfare in modern world conflicts, as well as the preparedness of Soviet and Warsaw Pact forces to fight on the contaminated battlefield, make it essential that you know what their nuclear, biological, and chemical capabilities are. By being aware of their capabilities, you will be better prepared to face the NBC threat. Present Warsaw Pact doctrine and military training indicate Soviet preparedness and readiness for conducting warfare in Europe with tactical and strategic nuclear strikes. Soviet-directed nuclear warfare would involve the use of mobile combat forces with a nuclear phase that would take maximum advantage of surprise to gain the greatest tactical advantage. A key consideration to Soviet nuclear warfare is that nuclear weapons would be used when Warsaw Pact tank and motorized rifle units are poised to exploit the disruptive and degrading effects of nuclear weapons. The decision to initiate nuclear warfare is political and requires approval by the Soviet Supreme High Command. Authority to launch subsequent nuclear strikes would probably be delegated to Soviet front or army commanders. Soviet initiation of theater-wide nuclear warfare would most likely happen if NATO's use of nuclear weapons was expected. In such a situation, the threat's nuclear forces would attack targets such as NATO command and control sites, nuclear delivery units, nuclear storage sites, communication facilities, and concentrated troop assembly areas. Soviet weapons capable of delivering nuclear weapons include short and medium-range ballistic missiles. This is the medium-range SS-20, which is solid-fueled, inertly guided, and carries 3 re-entry vehicles. The SS-20 has a range of 5,000 kilometers. The SS-21 is a solid-fuel, short-range, nuclear-capable ballistic missile. The SS-21 has a range of approximately 120 kilometers. Many types of Soviet aircraft are capable of carrying out nuclear strikes. One example is the MiG-27 FLOGGER, which can be fitted for nuclear strike missions. The MiG-27 has advanced munitions capabilities. The Su-24 Fencer is an all-weather aircraft with the capability of precision strikes throughout the central region of NATO. It is important to understand that Soviet tactical use of nuclear weapons stresses the employment of mobile combat forces to seize the initiative that would be gained from the surprise and confusion resulting from a nuclear strike. The use of nuclear weapons would not be initiated as just a period of massive nuclear attacks. Even though the Soviet Union and its Warsaw Pact allies are signatories to the 1972 Biological Warfare Convention, they have basically ignored the provisions of that treaty, as have been indicated in recent incidents in Southeast Asia and Southwest Asia. The 1979 accident in the Soviet city of Sverdlovsk, resulting in massive fatalities from pulmonary anthrax, is further incriminating evidence that the Soviets have been engaged in the development of biological warfare agents for offensive use. Soviet Warsaw Pact biological weapons systems are believed to include pathogenic microbes, toxins, and novel agents. Pathogenic microbes include bacteria, viruses, rickettsia, and fungi. In humans, these cause diseases such as yellow fever, anthrax, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, bubonic plague, and cholera. Some of these microbes can cause disease in both humans and animals. Toxins are poisonous compounds produced by microbes, plants, or animals. Toxins can cause incapacitation or death. Novel agents may include substances which naturally exist in the human body. Their use can cause incapacitation or death. For the user of biological warfare, these are considerable advantages. They include the element of surprise, the ability to pre-treat their forces, the coverage of large areas with small quantities of biological agents, the value of not having to destroy facilities, materiel, or equipment, which after decontamination can be operated and used, and the psychological impact of terror and panic. Biological warfare agents can be disseminated in aerosol form by ground generators, venting rockets, aircraft spray devices, and low-explosive bomblets. Toxins can also be disseminated by using conventional munitions such as rifle grenades and mortar rounds. Biological agents disseminated as aerosols through covert food and water contamination and vector-borne attacks with disease-carrying mosquitoes, ticks, and lice do not signal their arrival in the way nuclear, chemical, or conventional warfare attacks do. The deadly potential of biological agents is not revealed until casualties begin occurring. Biological agents can be used directly against our forward area combat troops, against our combat support and combat service support personnel in rear areas, or against theater targets such as air bases and naval facilities. Because of the different groups and individual behavior characteristics of microbes, toxins, and novel agents, Warsaw Pact forces have options to tailor the type of biological agent to the selected target. Toxins, for instance, are well suited for use in forward area tactical situations, but microbes would most likely be used in rear areas against strategic targets. Confirmed reports of the use of toxins in Asia reinforce assessments that the Soviets are actively involved in toxin research for military purposes. The use of agents such as yellow rain in Southeast and Southwest Asia indicates Soviet establishment of a significant production base. Yellow rain is formed by a mixture of toxins which belong to a group of fungal toxins known as trichothecenes, the effects of which can be incapacitating or lethal. This is what yellow rain can do to its victims who do not have protective equipment, like our NBC protective suit and mask. There are many more powerful toxins being researched for offensive use within the Warsaw Pact bloc. For example, there are several toxins which affect the nervous system. These toxins, compared to chemical nerve agents, are several thousand times more lethal. What is important for you to know is that biological warfare is an option that can easily be used by Warsaw Pact military forces in both forward and rear areas, and that the use of biological warfare can result in massive casualties and the disruption of military operations. Unmatched by the United States and NATO, Warsaw Pact military forces also have a considerable ability to use and deliver chemical agents. It is believed that the authority to use chemical warfare weapons requires a decision from the highest political level in the Soviet Union. Once that authority has been given, chemical weapons are likely to be used more freely than nuclear weapons. The Soviets classify chemical agents by their effect and identify them by 6 major types: nerve, blood, blister, choking, psychochemical, and irritant. Chemical agents are also considered in terms of persistency, that is, the stay time that the agents may remain in an area after their release. Nerve agents act the quickest. They are almost colorless, odorless, and tasteless. They attack the nervous system after being inhaled from the air or absorbed through the skin. A very minute amount of a nerve agent, such as GD, can kill a person quickly. Blood agent, such as hydrogen cyanide, causes general poisoning of the victim by affecting the bloodstream after being absorbed through the lungs. Blister agents such as mustard or lewisite disable their victims by blistering the skin or by damaging the lungs. Choking agents such as phosgene kills by causing the victim's lungs to fill with fluid. This lethal result is also known as dryland drowning. Psychochemical agents include BZ and LSD. Their effect disrupts the victim's mental and physical capabilities. Irritant agents cause effects such as burning sensations, eye tearing, sneezing, or vomiting. Their effects usually last only about 30 minutes after exposure to the agent. Soviet doctrine indicates that non-persistent chemical agents such as hydrogen cyanide would be used across their front against units which are in contact with attacking Warsaw Pact forces. This would weaken the enemy forces before they were engaged in close combat. Attacking Warsaw Pact forces would not have to be concerned with decontamination because hydrogen cyanide has a low persistency. Persistent agents such as nerve agent VR55 would be used in rear areas, while blister agents such as mustard, lewisite, or a mixture of mustard and lewisite might be used on the flanks of advancing echelons to help slow or prevent a counterattack by enemy forces. Priority targets in the event of a Warsaw Pact chemical attack would include nuclear delivery units, storage sites, airfields, and command and control centers. Major logistics facilities would also be contaminated, which could disrupt the resupply of our combat forces and degrade our capability to sustain combat operations. Since the use of chemical weapons would cause little physical damage, these targeted facilities could subsequently be used by Warsaw Pact forces. An indication as to how much importance the Soviets place on chemical warfare can be shown by some comparisons. There are 80 to 100,000 Soviet troops assigned to the chemical service. In the United States Army, there are currently less than 10,000 troops assigned to the Chemical Corps. In the Soviet Chemical Unit Organization, there is a chemical company at each regiment, a chemical battalion at each division, and additional chemical forces assigned at Army and front levels. Presently, at division level, the United States Army has one chemical company. Warsaw Pact forces have a multi-front capability to conduct chemical warfare and can employ a variety of weapons which are capable of delivering chemical munitions. These include mines, bombs, cannon artillery, tactical ballistic missiles, free-flight rockets, and multiple rocket launchers. An example of chemical weapons delivery capability is the 122mm multiple rocket launcher, which is a 40-tube launcher mounted on a truck. In a single ripple fire, a chemical agent such as hydrogen cyanide can be delivered on its target in about 30 seconds. In comparison, to place the same amount of chemical munitions on the same kind of enemy target, a U.S. Army howitzer battalion would have to reload and fire 40 times. It is evident from Warsaw Pact military doctrine, organization, and training that the nuclear, biological, and chemical threat is real and substantial. Their extensive individual and unit training in an NBC environment further indicates how well their forces are prepared and protected to fight in an NBC environment. Soviet Warsaw Pact military training is extensive and rigorous. It stresses both physical and psychological conditioning to prepare individual soldiers and entire units for combat in day, night, and all-weather conditions. This regime extends to training, fighting, and surviving in a nuclear, biological, and chemical environment. Soviet Warsaw Pact military leaders realize that even the best trained soldier will become a casualty in NBC operations unless he is well protected. To that purpose, they have designed a wide variety of protection and decontamination equipment for both soldiers and military equipment. Every soldier is issued an SHM series protective mask that he was trained to use while still in elementary school. The mask is made of lightweight, rubberized material which is resistant to all known biological and chemical agents. Military personnel authorized to use military radios are issued a K-series protective mask, which is similar to the SHM but has a voice emitter. Compared to the protective masks worn by the United States troops, the Soviet SHM and K-series masks are heavy, hot, and restrict vision and hearing. The OP-1, or a Warsaw Pact domestic version, is the standard protective suit issued to all military personnel. The OP-1 is made of rubberized fabric and consists of a coat overall with integral hood and separate overboots and gloves. When the OP-1 is worn with impregnated undergarments, it provides full protection against biological and chemical contamination. The L-1 lightweight protective suit is worn by Soviet Warsaw Pact reconnaissance troops. It provides airtight protection, which eliminates the need to wear impregnated undergarments. The IPP decontamination kit used by the Soviet soldier is very similar to the M258 decontamination kit once used by U.S. Army troops. To detect chemical agents, the Soviets have a variety of detection and warning systems. The backbone of the Soviet Warsaw Pact protection system is the GSP-11 alarm, which can detect the presence of G and V nerve agents. The VPKHR is the standard kit used for chemical detection and identification. Issued to all chemical defense units, the equipment contained in these kits provide the capability of detecting all known chemical agents. Soviet Warsaw Pact collective protection systems are designed to allow military personnel to fight from inside vehicles without the need to wear full protective gear. At present, most U.S. Army combat vehicles do not have such systems. Soviet Warsaw Pact decontamination equipment and systems provide the capability for crews to decontaminate their vehicles while on the march to new battle positions or locations. It is true that Soviet Warsaw Pact military personnel receive extensive NBC training, that they are well equipped to operate and fight in an NBC environment, and that they have the weapons and equipment to do so. But this does not mean that as an American soldier you are defenseless or unable to survive, fight, and win in an NBC environment. You too have the resources, equipment, and systems to protect yourself from the dangers of nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare operations. The chemical personnel assigned to your unit can train you in NBC's survival skills. By following their instructions, you too can survive, fight, and win on the air-land battlefield.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon member for the ASP. Please check out the ASP Patreon page.